citizens of Australia, allies abroad. This is Commander Reid Morgan of the Royal Australian Navy. At 09:00 hours, a coordinated cyber attack originating from a rogue Australian private military company, the Rubicon, infiltrated key naval drone networks of both Australia and the United States. This virus, previously unknown to our intelligence, has overridden our drone security protocols. Our own autonomous naval assets are no longer under our control. As of this moment, we have confirmed that multiple unmanned vessels and weapons platforms have been reprogrammed and are en route to targets along Australia's east coast and the western seaboard of the United States. This is not a drill. The Rubicon has turned our defences against us. The scope of the breach suggests deep, premeditated infiltration, possibly years in the making. We urge all civilians along the coasts of New South Wales, Queensland, and Western Australia to evacuate immediately. Similar alerts are being issued by US Pacific Command. All military personnel are now on DEFCON 1 equivalent. Engage counter-cyber protocols immediately. The enemy is domestic. They are organized. They are striking now. Stay alert. Stay safe. We will respond.
Now introducing Carl's Jr. Classics, like the Carl Medium Combo for only $9.95, or the Big Carl for when you're really hungry. So grab the Carl Combo today from only $9.95, only at Carl's Jr.
This is an emergency warning. The current threat level is advice. Heightened alertness recommended. Unidentified cyber interference has compromised the autonomous drone fleets of both the United States Navy and the Royal Australian Navy. Reports confirm that multiple unmanned systems, including X-47B combat drones, MQ-28 Ghost Bass, and MQ-8 Fire Scouts, have launched without command authorization. These drones have begun coordinated assaults against Allied fleets currently stationed in the Tasman Sea, the Great Barrier Reef region, and the North Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. Preliminary Defense Force assessments estimate over 230 personnel confirmed deceased, with more than 670 injured across 3 separate naval groups. Approximately 1,400 personnel have survived and are being extracted under active threat conditions. Communications with several vessels have gone dark, and recovery operations are underway amidst hostile drone presence. This breach is believed to have been executed by the Rubicon, a rogue private military organization operating outside any known national mandate. All citizens are advised to stay clear of coastal regions along the eastern seaboard, particularly in New South Wales, Queensland, and northern Tasmania. Emergency services and defense teams are working to secure inland evacuation routes and deploy anti-drone countermeasures. Air travel in and out of Sydney, Brisbane, and Cairns may be suspended without notice. Please remain indoors unless instructed otherwise by local emergency authorities. Military analysts estimate that the reprogrammed drones will reach striking range of Australia's eastern coastline and parts of the western United States, including Hawaii and Guam, within the next 6 to 9 hours. Further impacts may occur if additional systems are compromised. All defense partners are on high alert, and interception measures are being coordinated under joint operational command with U.S. forces. This is a developing national security threat. Updates will follow through the emergency alert system, ABC radio, and all major news platforms. We urge all Australians to stay calm, remain alert, and follow instructions from emergency services and the Australian Defence Force. Your safety is our highest priority.
Gafford make another play defensively. And that ball deflects to him, and he gets clobbered by Duran. And then Duran and P.J. Washington pushing and shoving. That escalated quickly.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Department of Defense and the White House. Say hi. level cyberattack has resulted in the unauthorized launch and weaponization of autonomous aerial and naval drone systems belonging to both the United States Navy and the Royal Australian Navy. The rogue private military company known as the Rubicon has reportedly seized control of combat drones, including X-47Bs, MQ-8 Fire Scouts, and Australia's MQ-28 Ghost Bats. These assets are now engaging in hostile operations in the Pacific, with confirmed attacks on U.S. and Australian fleets in the North Pacific near Hawaii, the Tasman Sea, and the Great Barrier Reef. Military intelligence agencies warn that these drones are on a programmed trajectory toward key population centers. Within the next 6 to 9 hours, coordinated strikes may occur against Guam, Hawaii, and the western seaboard of the United States, including San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, and Portland. Australia has also issued national warnings for potential strikes on Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, and Darwin. This threat is unprecedented and highly coordinated. Civilians in the listed areas are urged to remain combat prepared for possible emergency conditions. Listen to local officials and be ready to evacuate or shelter in place. If you are near military facilities, ports, or coastal regions, follow instructions immediately. All air traffic near naval bases in the Pacific Command area has been suspended. Emergency broadcast system alerts will be sent as new information becomes available. The Department of Defense has emphasized that this attack is not the result of deliberate action by any nation-state, including Australia. At this time, the United States stands firmly with Australia as both nations respond to this internal security breach. Any assumptions that this event could fracture Allied relations are false and dangerous. However, global tensions are rapidly escalating as other Pacific powers monitor the situation. Defense analysts are not ruling out the risk of broader military conflict in the Pacific region if the situation deteriorates further. This may mark a defining moment for international security and digital warfare. The Department of Homeland Security, NORAD, and Cyber Command are working with global partners to neutralize the threat. Further instructions and updates will follow via the emergency alert system, local authorities, and national media. Stay alert, stay informed, and support each other as we face this crisis together.
This is the new Lava Crispy Chicken Burrito from Taco Bell. Chicken that's crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, with crunchy lettuce, shredded cheese, and our new cheesy, spicy lava sauce. It's not just good, it's like catching the perfect barrel on a sunny day and then being joined on the wave by mermaids. The new Lava Crispy Chicken.
This is an emergency warning. The current threat level is emergency, meaning that a life-threatening and widespread danger is currently impacting multiple regions. Autonomous military drones, previously under the command of the United States Navy and Royal Australian Navy, have been seized by the rogue paramilitary group the Rubicon. Coordinated drone strikes are now underway across major Australian cities, with confirmed attacks in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Darwin. Intelligence indicates that Perth, Hobart, and Canberra are expected to come under fire within the next 3 hours. On the US Pacific coast, defensive forces report that similar drone activity is advancing towards San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. These actions are being met with armed resistance by US and Australian military forces. As of 1200 AEST, over 1,100 fatalities have been confirmed across multiple strike zones, with nearly 2,600 injured, many in critical condition. A Qantas passenger aircraft was downed over New South Wales airspace by a hostile drone swarm, resulting in no survivors. Multiple Royal Australian Air Force cargo planes have also been targeted and destroyed en route to defensive staging areas. Emergency crews are struggling to recover survivors from several downed aircraft and destroyed naval infrastructure in and around Sydney Harbour and Port Phillip Bay. Military personnel are engaged in active combat with Rubicon-controlled units across strategic locations. All citizens must immediately shelter in place or seek safety in government-designated underground shelters. Do not attempt to evacuate via road, sea, or air unless directed by emergency officials. All schools, government buildings, airports, and seaports are now closed indefinitely. Curfews are in effect, and all non-military movement is restricted. The Australian Defence Force and allied US forces are deploying countermeasures and working to regain control over compromised drone networks. This is not a test. The situation is evolving rapidly, and spreading misinformation or speculation will interfere with emergency operations and endanger lives. Do not share unverified content. Stay tuned to official channels for instructions. Remain calm, stay indoors, and prepare for extended disruptions. United, we will endure, and we will fight back.
P.F. Chang's is hosting a Chef's Feast. You can get a 3-course meal starting at under $20 per person. Find craveable lettuce wraps and a full menu of flavors to celebrate with friends, family, everyone. Come see why we're America's
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. This is not a test. Autonomous military drones previously operated by the United States Navy and Royal Australian Navy have been hijacked by the rogue paramilitary group known as the Rubicon. These drones are now conducting targeted strikes on U.S. soil. As of 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time, confirmed drone attacks have occurred in Portland, San Francisco, Honolulu, Anchorage, Los Angeles, Skagway, Seattle, San Diego, and the U.S. territory of Guam. Simultaneously, Australian cities including Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Darwin are under siege, with new intelligence warning that Hobart, Canberra, and Perth will likely be hit within the next 3 hours, U.S. Defense officials have confirmed over 2,800 casualties nationwide, with at least 6,200 injured, including hundreds of first responders. Notable incidents include a drone-launched missile strike on Honolulu International Airport, severely damaging terminal infrastructure. In Los Angeles, multiple drones targeted power substations, leading to widespread blackouts. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport has suffered runway damage from a drone collision with an inbound cargo plane. In San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge has been partially closed following targeted aerial strikes that caused structural damage and civilian panic. All commercial and private flights are immediately suspended across the western United States. Classes and work activities are suspended nationwide until further notice in all affected regions. Citizens in California, Oregon, Washington, Alaska, and Hawaii are instructed to shelter in place, stay away from coastal areas and high-value targets like ports, airports, and military bases. Emergency shelters are being opened across major cities. Follow local emergency authorities for evacuation orders and do not attempt to travel unless directed. This attack is ongoing and the situation is fluid. Additional strikes are expected in cities such as Sacramento, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Boise in the next wave. Remain vigilant and monitor trusted news and government sources. The United States is actively working with allied forces to neutralize this threat. Remain calm, do not share misinformation, lives depend on clarity and cooperation. Updates will follow through the emergency alert system and all major broadcasting networks.
This emergency meeting has been called at the request of the President of the United States and the Australian Prime Minister due to the catastrophic drone strikes launched by the rogue military group, the Rubicon. hijack US and Australian military drones are actively attacking cities including Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Darwin in Australia, and Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Honolulu, Anchorage, Portland, San Diego, and Guam in the United States. Thousands are dead or injured. Civilian infrastructure is collapsing. Civilian populations are sheltering under martial law conditions. National defense systems have been overwhelmed. The situation now threatens security and sovereignty of multiple nations and demands an immediate international response. In response, we propose Operation Aegis, an emergency multinational intervention deploying Chinese and NATO drone swarms to intercept and destroy Rubicon-controlled drones. These AI-enhanced fleets will use real-time cyber disruption and kinetic countermeasures to wipe out the threat. The next wave of cities at risk includes Canberra, Hobart, and Perth, Australia, and Sacramento, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and possibly Boise and Phoenix in the United States. The goal is to shield the next wave and take back the skies. Voting starts now on whether Operation Aegis will be authorized. The world is watching.
The votes have been cast. This council has reviewed and voted on a joint resolution to authorize Operation Aegis, a multinational drone defense initiative to neutralize Rubicon-controlled unmanned aerial systems now attacking civilian and military targets across Australia and the United States. The official vote is as follows: 13 votes in favor, 1 vote against, 1 abstention, with a clear majority and no veto from the permanent members. Resolution is adopted. Operation Aegis is now authorized for immediate deployment. Chinese drone fleets, NATO cyber warfare units, and Allied Pacific defense systems are cleared to engage all hostile drones within Australian and U.S. airspace. The mission: defend the next wave of cities, including Hobart, Canberra, and Perth in Australia, and Sacramento, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Boise in the United States. The United Nations stands united. The skies will not fall without resistance. We fight together, not for one nation, but for all.
This is an emergency update from the United Nations and the United States government. The multinational defense mission known as Operation Aegis is now underway. NATO and Chinese drone swarms have been deployed into critical airspace zones to intercept and destroy hostile drones controlled by the rogue paramilitary group known as the Rubicon. These allied drone units are being mobilized to protect the next wave of cities at imminent risk, including Boise, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Las Vegas in the United States, and Hobart, Canberra, and Perth in Australia. The mission's objective is to eliminate all compromised aerial threats and disable the Rubicon's command network before further civilian centers are attacked. All civilians in these and surrounding areas are instructed to remain indoors, avoid windows, and stay off roads unless evacuated by emergency officials. Airports and transit hubs remain closed, and all commercial and private flights are grounded. Emergency responders and allied defense teams are actively coordinating defense corridors, while early warning systems will issue real-time alerts for localized threats. Do not attempt to engage or approach downed drones or debris. The success of Operation Aegis depends on the cooperation of the public and the readiness of national and allied defense systems. Remain calm, stay informed through official channels, and be prepared to move to designated shelters if instructed. Updates will follow as the mission progresses.
We begin with breaking developments in the Pacific Theater. The United Nations has confirmed that the catastrophic wave of drone attacks targeting Australia and the western United States has been successfully neutralized, following the activation of Operation Aegis, a multinational drone defense initiative approved under United Nations Security Council Resolution 7491. This emergency act authorized the deployment of combined drone swarms from NATO and the People's Republic of China, marking one of the most unprecedented defense coalitions in modern history. Over the past 48 hours, Allied drone units intercepted and destroyed more than 1,300 compromised drones that had been hijacked by the rogue military contractor the Rubicon. Major cities like San Francisco, Darwin, Anchorage, Melbourne, Sydney, Los Angeles, and Honolulu, which had suffered significant damage and civilian casualties, are now entering recovery and decontamination phases. NATO cyber teams, in tandem with Chinese AI suppression protocols, dismantled Rubicon's remote control grid, severing its satellite uplinks, and rendering the drone fleet inoperable. No new strikes have occurred in the past 12 hours. The United Nations has called for the full disbandment of the Rubicon, labeling it a non-state paramilitary terrorist organization under international law. Member states are now coordinating intelligence and special forces efforts to locate and prosecute Rubicon's leadership for crimes against humanity, cyberterrorism, and unlawful weapons deployment. Analysts warn that unless dismantled entirely, remnants of Rubicon's digital infrastructure could pose future threats to global defense systems. This is being called the largest coordinated drone defense in world history, and a landmark moment in UN cooperation between Western and Eastern blocs. As cleanup begins across dozens of impacted cities, leaders stress the importance of vigilance, diplomacy, and accountability. For now, the skies are clear. This has been a BBC special report.